What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ryan here to talk about, one of the major reasons I fell in love with nootropics quite some time ago, and that is improving things over time, cognitively, that you were bad at all your life. I have a very particular story of being pretty bad at reading comprehension. I mean, it was basically almost impossible. I could not read through books in school. And like once I got to the second page of 2 pages, I had no idea what was going on because I could not remember anything on the previous page. I was having a hard time even remembering the stuff on the previous paragraph, just to give an idea. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about my experience with Noopept and that we're generalizing out to other nootropics and why I fell in love with them early on, and then the whole notion of improving things you're bad at. That seem to, I have no evidence of this, but seem to stick residually because I've improved those things with nootropics and they're still improved to this day. Okay, so let's do a minute and a half of Product Pro. For those of you that are new to the channel here, thanks so much for coming. Subscribe to the channel. Check us on the web at livecortex.com, livecortex.com/blog. Biggest blog for nootropics on the planet. Facebook.com/cortexstacks, and then we've got a podcast, Rockin' number 51, we just launched recently on the Cortex Labs Nootropics podcast. 6 major products. I'll run through them real quick. Number one, the Cortex stack, our powerful pre-made stack. It's a nootropic stack. It's ours. It's a stack I built mostly for killers and entrepreneurs that spend 18 hours a day building companies, but everybody else likes it, as you can imagine, because it really turns on brain function. Get it at livecortex.com. We wrote 5 digital guides. We'll explain them in the video at the end of this video, but mostly they're stack-ridden guides. They lay out nootropic stacks for you to take. They teach you how to cycle certain nootropics. They teach you how to take these compounds. They teach you how to stack them and put them together. We've got stacks for specific brain states. You want laser focus? Take this stack. You want verbal fluency? Take this stack. You want working memory? Take this stack. You want everything? Take this stack. Get all those stack lists. They're digital downloadable guides at livecortex.com. Very awesome stuff. Okay, so let me just give you a little history about me. Basically what I explained at the beginning. I had a very hard time comprehending information my entire life. So therefore I just hated reading. I hated reading books. I hated reading anything. I did it really pretty bad in school. I basically just did terrible in school. I was not good at comprehending information. That was my thing. Working memory was just terrible all my life. Outside of that, I was always very creative and cool, and I was a skateboarder, and I did a whole bunch of great stuff. And I've been a drummer all my life, and so I seem to gravitate toward things that are I don't say like I could sit down and play drums and remember how to play drums, and my working memory just would be perfect. But when it came to particularly reading comprehension, I had a severe deficiency, and so it messed with my grades, and I never ever got good grades in school. And then I was emancipated and effectively dropped out at 17, and then I went and joined the United States Army and became a combat soldier. Then I just became an entrepreneur after the Army, and so nootropics and particularly Noopept basically changed that entire thing for me. When I first started taking Noopept, I noticed improvements in my. First of all, I noticed a desire to read. Okay, that was something that right away was like positively alarming. I was like, Jesus, I want to read. I never want to read. I hate reading, right? I hated reading at the time, and so I started reading. This was right around the time that I was getting into why my brain was working so well from meditation. So I had meditated for a couple weeks, and it was like my brain changed, and I wanted to know why. So I started to get into reading what the cognitive science was behind it, but then I started taking nootropics, and Noopept was, was Alcar, alpha GPC, paracetam were the first couple, and then thereafter Noopept and a few others sort of were the next things that I experimented with. And then I just started to notice in that time when I was reading that so much of what I was reading I was actually remembering, and that when I was reading, the pages of a book, I would be on, like, if I started on this page and then I went to this page, and then even if I flipped the page and went to the next page, those entire last 3 pages, I remembered everything. I put it all together, and I was able to synthesize it. And I was able to walk away from the experience remembering what I read. And the information that I had, like, sort of permanently stored as stuff that I had knowledge of now thereafter because of what I read, like, I kept all that stuff. That is my experience with Noopept particularly. I just feel like it improved my working memory substantially. It definitely did. The interesting thing, though, is that these days, I certainly take Noopept less because then I was taking it a lot. I was really experimenting with it and really trying to get it to work really well for me. I toggle between many different stacks, but still these days, even if I take a month or two off of nootropics, which I think you should do, I do it often enough, a couple times a year, my working memory still works pretty profoundly. And now just sort of as a baseline, my working memory works great. Now I can sit down and read studies, scientific studies, and remember everything I read, right? Now I'm a wellspring of information around nootropics. All this information, sorry, I think my beard hair is like creeping up into my nose. All this information that I give you guys is information I've come to learn and read through fascination with nootropics, through taking nootropics and experiencing good brain benefits from it, right? Because it's this kind of stuff that makes me interested in it. Like, wow, I improved my reading comprehension. I used to hate reading, now I want to read stuff. And so over time in doing all this, my baseline state as it is, like just days when I don't take nootropics, my working memory works better. So I literally think that Noopept particularly, and I can't say that other nootropics didn't influence this because I was taking many other nootropics. I just know Noopept was very critical for this in the beginning, has allowed me to, I believe, has allowed me to have residual improvements in working memory capacity, and particularly around reading and digesting a lot of information. Okay, so that's one of the main reasons I think people take nootropics. They've got shortcomings in one area or another, and it's probably related to neurotransmitter function or neurotransmitter receptor functionality in their brains. And so these things optimize the profile of that underlying neurochemistry, and then people end up on the other end improving things that they were terrible at, in the past. And so hope that's been a good anecdote for people that are looking to take nootropics for that reason, or are experiencing that kind of thing with taking nootropics. I think, if a lot of you that have been in the game long enough are taking nootropics, I'm sure a lot of you know just what I'm talking about, and you've experienced improvements in areas where you were bad at previously. And that's like one of the really awesome things about taking nootropics and Noopept particularly. Thanks for watching. What's up, everybody? Ryan Michael Balla here. Hey, thanks for watching the video. Look, we've got, as it stands, 5 primary products that I want to just explain to you. You heard us mention them during the video, so I'm going to break them down. Number 1, from left to right, the Cortex Nootropic Stack. This is a cognitive enhancement stack that you really want to take to turn the lights on. Just to give you an idea, hardcore business folks that require 18 to 20 hours of brain function, take the Cortex Stack. That's what we initially designed it for, but then like everybody in the nootropic sphere loved it. Verbal fluency, speed of processing, motivation, drive to want to work. That's what the Cortex Stack does. Moving right along, the aniracetam guide there, that is called the Beginner's Guide to Aniracetam, breaks down 25 powerful aniracetam stacks, shows you how to use aniracetam. It's essentially the everything guide to aniracetam. Long demanded, folks asked us for it, we delivered. It is fully digital, lots of powerful stacks. And then there's the nootropic stacks for the business professional. That's basically 100, right around 100 powerful uridine, modafinil, theacrine, aniracetam, oxiracetam, phenylpiracetam, alcar stacks for business situations, for the type of brain states that business folks need for sustained performance. Next is the Racetam God Guide. That is a high-level every racetam guide, digital guide. We've got all the major racetams with accompanying focus stacks and memory stacks and speed of processing stacks. In that racetam. There's 8 major nootropic racetams, and that guide explains all of them and accompanying stacks. Then there's the Noopept Pro Stack List. The Noopept Pro Stack List is a digital guide that explains oral, so just taking it by mouth, sublingual, taking it under the tongue, and then intranasal, spraying Noopept nasal spray in your nose, stacks. It's just a bunch of stacks, a giant stack list of Noopept stacks that are highly effective, pro-level, specific brain state inducing type of Noopept stacks. That thing has been a hit out there with the market. And then last, there's Smarter, Better, Faster. Smarter, Better, Faster is the all-around, everything nootropics digital guide. If you just want to learn everything, many racetams, modafinil, etc., get Smarter, Better, Faster. It's like the guide you need to know if you're new to nootropics, to learn basically everything and to walk away knowing what you need to know on nootropics. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for watching. Get this stuff at livecortex.com and rock on.